Hey guys. All right, I'll give it some time so player can join stream as usual. In the meantime, I will be waiting and doing dailies. I forgot to do this today, so let's do this while people are still joining in. So on the lightning day, I don't do any damage or almost on the domain elemental boss, but might as well try at the very least. If I can do 10, it's fine. Yeah. Yeah, I don't usually do any damage on lightning day, so it's not out of the common. Pretty ordinary. I don't have any body except Khan on the lightning day, so I don't have a lot to work with. Doing well, doing well. So today I have a few things that I want to go over with you guys, other than just the question if you have any, because we are going to go into KVK soon. We also have this event going on. I'll use a few coins with you guys. And then also have one player that sent a few questions and a lot of information about his account. So we're going to look at that as well. I'll give it 2 more minutes for players to join. If you have any question, you can start sending the question right away. But I'm planning to start with the player review from the start. I always use this one for the SP recovery. Whenever I'm not fighting, the SP is one of the things that takes the longest to boost your immortals, so I still have a lot of immortals that are not maxed out. All right, so I'll get started right away with a player review that sent me on the Discord. Quite a few info about his account, and he has a few questions. At any point, guys, if you have a question, you can always send it in the chat, and I will review after this one here. So here, I don't know if it's big enough. Let me see. Should be able to see now. So as you can see, this player is in S1, about to enter KVK, castle only 35. He's currently playing a hybrid team with Hannibal, Alex, Quinn, and Zenobia. And the player also have a few questions. He started on a second team slowly. He's working on Khan and YSS slowly at the same time. He's got a few items here. More importantly, the coins, which is very important in my opinion. And he's still working on the dragon at the moment. So first question, should he go with Alex, YSS, Quinn, and Khan? What we're going to do is I'm going to answer the question first when it comes to this, because I want to review this right away. The reason why I do think it's a good formation is because Khan is a little bit of an upgrade when it comes to Quinn and Khan. One of the main reasons is because you feel more happy with the dust that you invest on an attacking model. So Khan being an attack, you can bring him to 50, and I would say your investment is a little bit better when it comes to dust than putting everything on Quinn. But as you can see, the Quinn is maxed out, whereas the Khan is absolutely not maxed out, and Khan takes a long time. So my recommendation is keep this. When you're keep working on Hannibal as well. Just don't infuse any dust into him. When your YSS is ready, you put Hannibal out of the main formation and YSS in. And you're going to do something similar with your Khan. You keep your Khan on your second team or your third team. You don't want to rush your Khan too much. Go from the market. If you want to pay a little bit of money, you can always do the events, but you don't have to rush your Khan. Your Quinn is going to do a very good job for you. Now, when it comes to the skills, this here, lifelink, doesn't really belong on your Quinn. I would probably keep it there for now if you're struggling on skills. But at some point, you can move it either to your second team, or you could put it on your Hannibal whenever there's one more slot open. But your Hannibal would need, at the moment, until you stop using him, Fighting Master. Fighting Master is one of the most important skills for PvP, and you're about to enter KvK. So make sure you get Fighting Master on your Hannibal for now when you're fighting in KvK. Then, should you go for Fufei or Red Skill? You're already stacking up on coins here. You can see 202 coins. It's going to take you more than 202, even if you're lucky, to get to 60. So to unlock one Red Skill. On average, if you're lucky, I would say 350, 400. I'm really not lucky. I'm going to play Divine Coin with you guys in a bit. Hopefully with you on the stream, I'm going to be a little bit luckier. We'll see. But you should definitely go for a Red Skill over Fufei. In Season 1, the seasonal event does not have any discounted immortal. You should stack up your Grail as soon as you get to the point where your seasonal event has discounted Chaos Immortal. This is going to be way easier, and anyway, at the moment, Red Skill is going to give you way more value. You should go with either Knife Through Butter, or you should go with Fully Prepare. So my recommendation is one or the two, depending on what you're planning to do in the future. If you're planning to make your Alex your main carry, so keeping a Quinn, Zenobia, YSS, Alex, or maybe Khan instead of Quinn at some point as your main team, you can go with Fully Prepare first. Fully Prepare first is going to give you a little bit more damage for your Alex, and then you can go with Knife Through Butter second. These will be the best option for your Alex as a main carry. Your Khan is going to take some time before you get to use him. Again, Khan is in the market. He is for gem. He is not that often in the market. At only 1.85, unless you play this event here to max him out, it's going to take time. So don't start buying Red Skill for Khan right away. It will be a mistake because it will take too long. Energy Mastery is the best skill on Khan for sure, and probably one of the best Red Skill in the game at the moment. But you're not going to get you to use it on your Khan anytime soon. Whereas if you get fully prepared or knife through butter for your Alex, you can use it right away, and you will need it at some point anyway. So this is my recommendation for this question here, between Energy Mastery or knife through butter. Don't go with Energy Mastery. So here it's not about who you should max first, because the way you should do both Alex and Can is at the same time. They are going to be available in the market. Whenever you see either of them, you get their short. Whenever you have an option to pick chess or whatever, and Can is there, usually it's Can, Baldwin, or Charles, you take Can. If you have an Alex option, you take Alex. They're not going to be maxed in the same way. There's not any event that you really do where you can focus on one or the other. You just max both at the same time. You don't need to focus on either. What will happen is your Alex is going to be maxed out way before your Can. Here, for Dragon or Boost, what you want to do here is you want to boost your Alex to at least 20, 25, and then you can boost the other to 20, and then you want to boost your Dragon a little bit. The Dragon takes a longer time to upgrade, so what you want to do is you start your Dragon, you keep hoarding gold for your Immortal, and you want to time your next upgrade for when you're going to have the gold, right? So when your Dragon is about to finish, let's say in 2 days, start hoarding gold for your Dragon so that you don't stop training any Dragon. For now, only train your main Dragon. Don't bother about the other one. You're going to use your main team a whole lot more. And with KVK starting soon, you still have quite a bit to work to do on your main team. You really, really want to get to fully stars at the very least. If you can get to fully stars, you're going to get 2 more skills. And if you can get to the artifact, it's a big upgrade, especially for an immortal like Alex and Hannibal, where their passive become where their skill become a passive. This is going to be extremely important. So I don't know if you put a little bit, well, you do put money in the game because you have divine coins. But rushing a little bit, depending on how much fight you get, just unlocking these slots here is going to give you a lot more power, because your Alex and Hannibal is going to benefit a lot from the artifact. All right, so your Can, don't bother with him for now. Leave it on your second team. Don't worry about him. For your Hannibal, you need to bring it up, because your Hannibal is going to be what you're going to use for KVK1, unless you're able to push YSS really hard right now. Example, if your golden path is about to reset and you can get a lot of YSS in the golden path shop, then maybe you're going to be able to finish him. Otherwise, your Hannibal's probably going to be finished first. So use whatever you can use at the moment. Just don't infuse dust into your Hannibal at the moment. But yes, you want to bring your Alex as maximum boost. I don't remember if it's 20 or 25 for season 1, but you want to max Alex. And then the other one, put them to 20, all of them. And then once they're at 20, you can do Hannibal to 25. The thing is, you can reset Hannibal. As long as you don't infuse dust, you're not going to lose much. You're going to lose a little bit when it comes to the boost, because the boost for the tank is a little bit different what you need. But you're not going to lose all that much. And you're still going to get everything back. So if you have any question, I know the player said it was going to be online. So if you are, you can always ask in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to move to a question from the chat, if there are any. Oh, let me try to fix the sound. 1 second. Is this better now, guys? I hope it's better now. Okay, perfect. So so energy mastery, not fully prepared. Yeah, so the reason why I did not recommend Energy Mastery in this case is because he's not going to be able to use the skill until he gets his scan to a decent level. But as you see here, his scan is going to take quite some time. And he is about to get into KVK, so he doesn't have the luxury to wait on the skill, right? So he doesn't have the luxury to wait on his scan to be the main carry. Alex is going to be in his main carry for KVK1 for sure. So you want to focus on a red skill that's going to help you right now, and one that you're not going to remove later on. Knife through water and fully prepare are skill that you're going to need on your Alex, so you might as well use it now. Yes, of course you can ask question. All right. Let me just take a look at TOS while you guys can ask questions. I already did all my attacks today. And today is the last day for Arena. I was able to claim the Dragon Crystal. Oh, so if they're not available, then you just wait. Because when you look at these skills, the only skills that could do okay on Alex is actually this one. But you're not going to be able to put last 10 with fully prepare. So a lot of players moved away from last 10 on Alex once they saw fully prepare being released. I would not recommend getting last 10 as a placeholder because red skills are a little bit too expensive to do that unless you can afford it. Because at the end of the day, your best setup on Alice is going to be fully prepare and knife through butter together. And if you want to push it, you could do drastic action as well on Alex. The reason is a few players are not running Khan. And if you're not running Khan, you can do a drastic action to limit the healing instead. So there's a question here. A player is using Louis, Tokyo, YSS, and Matilda in season 2. So I'll answer the question about YSS first. YSS is a lower tier immortal, honestly. At some point, if I was in your shoes, I would definitely replace my YSS. You're gonna need to replace your YSS. You have a few options. You can do either Khan, which is going to be the best option for your Lightning team. My assumption is probably your Khan is going to take more time. Especially if free to play, Khan takes a long time. You could always do Hamu. I'm not the biggest fan of Hamu, however. The reason is Hamu is a damage dealer only. He only deals damage, but even while he only does damage, his damage output is not all that amazing, even when you take into account the negative effect. But in this game now, there's quite a few skills and a few immortal that are going to cancel debuff. So this is not going to trigger as much, even more so. What you could always do instead is something like a Quinn or a Zenobia, because you're using Louis. So it will be okay. But definitely move away from YSG. This guy here is definitely lower in the champion tier pool. One of the main reasons is he doesn't do a lot of damage. He doesn't support anybody except himself because of the skills that he has. And the transfer, it doesn't really apply all that much. Like you're not going to get a lot of damage from him and you don't get any support. And he's also an attack immortal and archer. So when it comes to the specialization, you only can go damage on him. So I would say Quinn, Khan, Zenobia could be replacement when it comes to free to play players. If you're putting money into the game, you can do a Oli or a Shadow instead, um, but move away from him. When it comes to Louis, what you want to do if you want to keep using Louis is you're going to need to put guard on your tank. So on your Toku, you're going to need to put this skill here. This skill is going to allow your tank to soak some damage from your Louis and make your Louis more durable. This is the only way that you can side assist a frontliner. It's with guard. What you want to do as well is you can use skill like Weakening Curse, which is going to lower the damage output of the enemy early. And you can also wear some skill like Energy Shield. Energy Shield, which is going to give a shield to your Louis and protect him. You don't want to use it on Louis. You want to use it on your tank and keep damage skill on your Louis because your Louis at the moment is the main damage dealer. Yes, if you have any more question, following up question, you can always ask me. What I'll do is I'll go to the Discord. Somebody's shared a march, I think. There we go. Let me take a look. So currently using that march, still need corrosive power and a few more red skill, but that was thinking double tank. Okay. So in my opinion, when it comes to a setup like this, Alex is only going to be better than double tank if you have one red skill at the release on him. If you don't have at least one red skill, then double tank is better. If you want to do Ragnar, that's an option. I think Jorn would be a very good here when it comes to a tank. The reason is Jorn is going to help against Alex, and he's also going to boost the resilience, which is really good. But Ragnar would work as well. If you're planning to get Knife Through Butter on your Alex to level 6, 7, then yes, your Alex is going to be very useful and can be placed here like this. I can give you my account as an example, as an idea. I'm still moving pieces around, but at the moment, I have double tank, whereas I still have my Alex somewhere else because my Knife Through Butter is not high enough yet. But I can do both, right? Because I have a Knife Through Butter at least level 5, I could place my Alex instead of my Charles. It depends on who I'm fighting. I just do this at the moment for TOS. It gives me a little bit more of a 2-team punch. But yes, without red skill, I suggest double tank. If you do get Knife Through Butter on your Alex, then your Alex can be inserted instead of double tank. Okay. I can also look at general chat. This one here. I'm going to do this one here. I have many friends who at the start of the game use full like march. So this march. Yeah, so this is a standard march when it comes to moving away from a full lightning. As you can see here, there's no more lightning except Khan. The reason is lightning can be quite decent early game, and it's actually quite good during IBL, but it's not very good when it comes to Season 3 Conquest and Legendary because you're very limited on the formation that you can do with your Lightning March, and on top of that, on the skill that you can do with your Lightning March. There's still some that works, but a lot of players gravitate away from it, and this is one way to go. As you can see here, there's the 2 best skill when it comes to Khan and damage. This is a support that is going to bring the Specialization Battle Excitation for your Khan. You have assist to help your Khan resist the damage that he's going to take. This is going to prevent a lot of magic damage, and life protection protects both your backliners. So this is extremely good for your support alongside assist. And then you have double tank that is going to give some protection. So this is fine. I do like this team. It's a team that is definitely strong. The Theodora is a good immortal. Now, this is not cheap, however, when you look at it, because this is 2 All-in Shadow, so you need to be careful. You're going to need to max 2 All-in Shadow here, given this team formation. And the other thing is, when it comes to red skill, at the moment you only have 1. You're going to be fine with only 1 if you want to stay at this amount of spending, right? But if you really want to push it, what I suggest is getting Fountain of Life on one of your tank at the very least. Fountain of Life, even level 2, 3, 4, it's going to be enough. But Fountain of Life is going to help a lot when it comes to negating no escape from the enemy. Probably the next skill to get here is Fountain of Life. Let me get to the next question. So, what for immortal do you recommend? Alex, Chemical, Bjorn, low to medium spender. Will that be a long time team? True specialization. Okay, so here a player currently has a Alex, Emiko, Bjorn, March. Is looking for 1 more support, 1 more immortal. He is a mid spender, and he's also looking for some information when it comes to the specialization. And he already has Knife Through Butter and Energy Mastery. So there's a few options that you can go. First one is with a Quinn. You can put Quinn for your last piece of your march. It can be a late game and end game march as well. A lot of players replace here, put Alex instead of Charles. Use this type of march in the end game. You see it a lot in TOS, and Quinn is extremely good as a support. You're going to be able to bring Battle Excitation. So when it comes to specialization, you want Battle Excitation on your support. You want Storm Eye spell on your Himiko. The reason is because you're going to get some crit and also magical damage. But not just magical damage, you're going to get all magical damage, whereas the first specialization is only the ultimate. So here I'm using Infinite Firepower, which is boosted by this specialization, where the first specialization would not help Infinite Firepower. The other option that you have would be a Theodora, a Zenobia, or a Fufei. Now, Fufei a little bit more expensive. Fufei is also countered by Quinn, but Fufei overall is a little bit better than Quinn for sure. She is Chaos, so a lot more expensive. She is in the Battle Pass, however, so she's not the most expensive one. You can get her here slowly. It could be a side project if that's something you want to do. But if you want to choose between Zenobia and Quinn, I heavily recommend Quinn. Zenobia is not going to be the best march with a Himiko and Alex, in my opinion. And 2, the Theodora option could also work. But Theodora is also not the cheapest. It's a Holy Immortal with Sparks of Galaxy Gone. You have to remember, you're going to be working on 3 Holy and Shadow. That's quite a lot of Holy Shadow boxes that you need to get. You're going to need to get them from the Rune Factory. Most of them, at least. And you currently have Knife Through Butter and Energy Mastery. So if I was in your shoes, I would put Quinn here, and I would focus on getting more red skill instead. You could get Infinite Firepower for your Himiko, unless you already have Corrosive Power. What you could do as well is get fully prepared for your Alex. You can get a Fountain of Life for your tank. You can even get a Life Protection for your Quinn. So you have a lot of options to increase your march. And I think getting more red skill is going to be way more beneficial to you than get Fufei instead of Quinn. Just 1 second. I'm gonna go back to the player that was using Louis, Matilda and YSG. If you already have a can at spec 3, I think he's probably already better. So you should use Khan right away. Khan is overall way better immortal. He is A plus tier. Switch out to Khan. You're gonna need to fish for some of his shards in the market. You can always do the seasonal event for the Eternal Grail. You have an option to get Khan. If you can put a little bit of money and you really want to go all out, you could always do Elemental Bond when it's the Lightning Day. Right now we don't have the Lightning Day, but there's a Lightning Day with Khan. You can also reset the market, right? Depending on how many refresh you have. I suggest to do that when it's the spending event. At least you're going to get some dices from it. This is a good event to spend some gem on the market for any free-to-play low spender. So why is a lot of Wells using Alex over over Ares? He is way more cheap. Like you can get a lot more out of an Alex because you're gonna be able to get your Alex for free, and then you can invest a lot of red skill instead of investing in Ares. So the mid well tier are way better off going with an Alex that is almost as strong. And instead of investing in a lot of chaos shards, they go with 1, 2, maybe even more in the range of 3 red skill. Because a maxed out Ares is probably going to cost you 3 at least red skill. So the power difference is not even close. Your Alex with 3 more red skill on your team is going to destroy your Ares without those 3 red skill for sure. Now, if you're talking about the mega whale, I think a lot of them are using Ares. When you look at the mega whales. So here you see Ares is there. Ares is there as well. So they are using Ares, but this is really the mega whale, like the top 5% of the whales. Otherwise, those that are a little bit lower, so those that have 2, 3 chaos model are probably going to focus on Alex instead and go for red skilling, which is, in my opinion, the best way to go about it. See, they're going to be full of red skill instead. Also, when Ares was released, it was not as good as right now because the immunity here was not in place when it was released. So that could be another reason. Let me go to the next question. Since you said that Tina is the best counter, Alex is. Okay, so this player is asking if Athena is a good replacement to YSS because at the end of the day, Athena is the best counter to Alex, for sure. Now, the problem with that is that you're replacing an amazing tank for a tank that is better at countering Alex, yes, but way weaker against magical damage. You have to be careful. If you're only getting 1 Chaos Immortal, it could be an option. The reason is it is from the 5 option that is in the discounted chest, so they are way cheaper. And when you look at the other option, if you are currently using a YSS, Alex, Zenobia, Quinn, you have 2 options. You have Athena to replace your YSS, or you have Loki to replace your Zenobia or Quinn. The thing about this here is that if you're going with Loki as the option, you're going to need your Loki at 30, if not 40 dust. So that means you're going to need a lot of Crimson Moonlight, which is really not cheap. Not an option for free to play, not an option for very low spender, in my opinion. So you could go with an Athena, would be cheaper because at 20, 30 dust on the portrait, you're going to be about as strong as a YSS, fully maxed, and you're also going to be able to counter Alex quite well. This is what I'm doing, by the way, guys. I went with Athena. I'm still working on my Athena. She's only at 4. The dust is still quite low. I need to get it higher. When I say higher, I would say probably 30, 40 for me to be using her. The reason is I have a Bjorn at the moment that is maxed out, and I have my YSS that is maxed out as well. So for my Athena to make sense, at the very least 30. But yeah, I am working on her. It is a good option to counter Alex for sure. Oh, and by the way, Shelter, which I always say is not a good skill, would be a good skill on Athena because this is going to counter Alex as well. So you're doubling down on countering Alex with Athena and Shelter. And the healing on Shelter is guaranteed because of the skill from Athena. Let me go to the next question. So if you are looking to get a form for resources and honor, it really depends. If you're starting from scratch, you need to get into one of the main alliance, and you basically do your upgrade really quickly. So when you start an upgrade, I can go on my mini account to show you. If there's a 30 player online, a lot of the early buildings you can finish in 1 second, right? So if I start, example, this one, I click help, and there's 30 player right now on this in this alliance. This building will be done as soon as they all click help. This is the best way to really push your farm rapidly. And then what I suggest is you leave it at around 40, 45 when it comes to farming honor. If you want to farm resources, you're going to need to bring it a lot higher than that, probably 50, 55. I just moved servers, so I don't have any farm with me at the moment except these two. I have another account here that is not a farm, but farm is really useful for honor and resources, but the best way to get resources is definitely from dead castle. It depends on your server. If you can find 1 or 2 dead castle that you can cycle through, example, this one, I can get around 15 million every maybe 12 hours. Then I can go to this one, like I saved them. I can go to, no, I'm not on my main account, 1 second. I'll show you my other mini account actually, because in that server, it's way more representative when it comes to dead castle. In this server, there's so many dead castle. You see here, I can farm this guy all the time. He's not playing anymore. We left him in one of the alliance because we know where he is. But you see here, there's a lot of resources to be gained from dead castle. There's another to get dead castle here. There's another one here. There's a lot of dead castle lying around. This is your best source of resources for sure. When it comes to honor, what you want to do is you want to always log in on your mini account, your farm, to train troops. And then what you do is you set the talent for this one here, for aid, and you just leave it on, and you just hit yourself. Whenever your double honor is available on your main account, you use your double honor, this talent here, and you hit yourself. That's pretty much it. I don't farm honor. I'm not the biggest fan of spending too much time on farming honor. I get my honor from KVK, but I do 1 or 2 hit per day, every day, for the battle pass. So in the battle pass, the peak and the legendary, you're gonna get once a day one that is for honor. So here you see you need to get 30k. So I hit myself for that. You see here I hit him just to get the battle pass done. So when it comes to specialization for Alex and Jordan, Alex is a no-brainer. Alex, you need to go with the first one. Same thing with Ares, same thing with Hannibal. You get attack speed and damage. This is the best one. You don't want the crit. The crit for Alex is not going to work unless you have a skill like Time to Shine on him, and also a weakening curse, a weakness, on one of your tank, and probably even a fire dragon. So I don't recommend it. Just go for the first one. I don't like the last one because Alex is all about normal attack. He's gonna do way more damage if you focus on the first one. When it comes to Bjorn, you have two options. First one, you have the Iron Will, which is going to give resilience and receive damage reduction. If you have guard on your tank because you're protecting your Alex, I really heavily recommend to go with the first one. If you're playing double tank, no guard, you could go with the last one. The last one is also an option. I'm trying it out on a few accounts. It can provide a lot of shielding. I'm not the biggest fan because Poseidon is going to cancel shielding, but it is an option. There are a few players that go Fortress, and it does a lot of shielding for sure. Oh, thanks a lot, Zero, again, for the tip. I really appreciate it. Is kind of good with a legal skill. What is a legal skill? I'm not sure what a legal skill is. Just confirm, and then do you mean legendary skill? Yes, Khan is good without a legendary skill. You can use him for sure. I'll give you a few examples of skill that you can place on your Khan based on your spending power. But the one thing that you need to be careful is if you have a Khan without red skill and you have an Alex without red skill, Alex is going to outperform Khan on damage for one reason. That one reason is simple, is because Alex, you have immunity from his skill, so you're able to place 3 damage skill. So here I could put Cleave, and I would have an Alex that would deal way more damage than anything I do on my Khan without a red skill. Because on my Khan, I will need to place Fighting Master. And if you put Fighting Master, which you should, then you're only able to bring 2 skill. So overall, your Alex is going to deal more DPS. But the skill that you can put is Corrosive Power, if you can have it. Corrosive Power is a pay-to-win skill, however. You need to unlock it on the Wisdom Well. But it is the best skill on Khan for sure. Then you have a few options. Let me go to the Tower of Knowledge. Oh, let me just open a chest real quick. Right, so in the Tower of Knowledge, you have multiple options. I'll give you the cheapest option that is extremely strong, even though they're all purple skill. But if you go Anchor, Fighting Master, and Adrenaline Rush, you're actually going to deal a lot of damage with your Khan, even if they're all purple skill. It is the cheapest option. It is still very strong. If you're using your Khan as a solo carry, you probably want a little bit more than that. But if you're using him with Alex, this is enough DPS in my opinion. But what I would do is probably something a little bit different. I would probably turn my Khan a little bit more into a support, but that's really up to you. Other option would be you can do Blade Vortex. Blade Vortex is a decent skill. Khan does a lot more damage from the ultimate, but Blade Vortex is still a decent skill on him. If you do Blade Vortex, you can also put it with Executioner. It is decent. Now, there are a few skills that are really good for Khan, but I don't recommend. So this one here, Desire of Life, is a good skill for Khan because of the wound effect. I don't recommend it. This is actually only good in IBL. I don't recommend using the skill outside of the IBL almost ever. Lightning Strike to me is a little bit the same. I'm not a fan. What is decent is the damage increase taken, but even then, I don't really recommend it for your Khan. I only use Lightning Strike on in open arena and sometime in IBL. You can do battle stance, but if you do battle stance, I really recommend you play double tank because battle stance is not the best anymore. One, because specialization is a little bit anti-synergetic when you have battle excitation on your support, and then you do battle stance because you're not going to be able to gain any energy. But battle excitation is boosting your energy at the start. Um, Unyielding is an option. Not the best if you're using your Khan as the sole carry, um, but it is an option. A lot of players do that with Fufei when they do energy mastery, corrosive power, and unyielding. It is decent, but it is not something that I would use without corrosive power. You can also do Time to Shine. Time to Shine is extremely good on Khan. It's the upgrade of Anger. Basically, if you're able to unlock Time to Shine, you can replace Anger with Time to Shine. However, this is a bundle skill. You need to unlock it from the bundle. It's not available in the Wish shop. Same thing with Blood Frenzy. This is actually also okay on Khan. Not the best, but also a pay to win skill. So if you choose between the two, I would go with Time to Shine for sure. You can also do Growl on Khan. Growl on Khan is decent. Yes, a little bit of anti-synergy when it comes to your support, but it's not too bad because it lowers the energy, but you can gain energy. So basically, when you put Growl on a Khan and you have Battle Excitation on your support, you basically cancel this, but you take away from Battle Excitation a little bit, right? If you look at Battle Excitation, it's 200 energy, so you would gain 100 instead of 200. Daimonic Contract on Khan is not that good for PvP. The reason is you want to deal more damage quickly, and Daimonic Contract is not good anymore PvP. I would say it definitely is a skill that I would recommend for PvE a lot more. In my elemental domain, I have demonic contract on all my damage dealer because most of the time I'm going to last longer than the battle actually lasts, 2 minute 30. So I'm going to boost my damage. But the reality is PvP, your battle does not last over 2 minutes anymore. If you look here, a lot of the battle is going to be very quick. It's very quick. So you're not going to get to do enough damage early on with your Khan. Okay, let me answer here. There's a player that will be starting a new free-to-play account. I think I saw the name on the Discord as well. So yes, so the question here, this player is going to start a new account as a free-to-play player, and he's going to go with the YSS Alex Zenobia Quinn. Very strong decision. I really like this team. I think it's the best option for a free-to-play. Early season one. Once you start a game and you kind of improve your team. Yes, you can go with Annibal Alex at the start. It is very good. It could even be better, I would say, early game. The reason is you get 2 DPS and you're going to do a lot more damage when it comes to pushing the elite campaign, the normal campaign. it is a very good formation. It's cheaper on scale early as well. What I suggest is you don't invest as a free to play player dust into your Hannibal, and you don't get too many DPS skill to put on your Hannibal. You make him a little bit more as a support tank, um, because you know you're going to switch to YSS and you're going to lose access to these skills. So I'll give you a good example. Your Alex is going to be able to hold 3 damage skill. If you go example combo, cleave, and then you are going to get assembly charge later on, but you double down and you also get dominate. You also get, where is it? Dual master. Then you're going to get to a point where once you replace your Hannibal for your YSS, these skills, example combo, you're not going to be able to hold anymore, or maybe dual master, you're not going to be able to hold anymore. So don't, as a free-to-play player, invest too many skill onto your Hannibal. Instead, you're going to go with Fighting Master on your Hannibal, because Fighting Master you will use for sure. You can go with Energy Shield. Energy Shield is very good. You can even place it on your tank once you have Guard alongside on your tank. You can also just go with Berserk on your Hannibal. So the way I see it is you can go Hannibal, especially if you get lucky and you get him early. Just don't put any investment that you cannot get back. I want to do a Wu team, but I don't want to build Trajan. What are some of the alternatives to replace Trajan, this agent, or free-to-play friendly? So if you want to do a very strong fire team, I think Trajan is almost essential. You're not going to be able to do as good as a fire team without Trajan. The reason is Trajan is, I would say, the bread and butter for damage on a fire team. If you really, really want to still do it, you could always do Ragnar, but he is a King of the Hill immortal as well. So at that point, you might as well go with Trajan. If you go YSS, same thing. You might as well as just go with Trajan instead. If you do Charles is not a King of the Hill immortal, but Charles is not easy to get. So I don't think you're going to be able to get to Charles maxed out before a Trajan, especially if you're a low spender. No, I'd say no. There's no really any replacement if you want to be as strong as a Alex YSS Zenobia Quinn. With a fire team without Trajan, it's not going to be doable. Another question from Zenas. So, Alex, Himiko, Bjorn, Quinn, or Fu Fei? I know what's big to use. Okay, so I can give you the specs for what I have at the moment for my team here. If you're going to use Alex, again, we've talked about this many times. Alex only option is Night Spirit for sure. Don't change it. Go with Night Spirit. When it comes to your Himiko, I really recommend this second one, which is Storm Ice Spell. Let me just give you an option here. If you want to go with the first one, the only reason you want to go with the first one is if you play Energy Mastery, Corrosive Flower, and Fighting Master on your Himiko, and you fight a whole lot of magic dealers or crit dealer. Otherwise, I really like the second one a lot more because the increase is all magic damage. You only get 10% less, but all magic damage is going to increase the power of an infinite firepower, where this one would not. You also get the crit, and a lot of Himiko, myself included, are running crit build on Himiko. Crit damage, crit. So even more crit, it just makes it a better, I would say, formation for your Himiko. You have a lot of crit, you have a lot of damage. You also deal more damage with your infinite firepower. So I really prefer Storm Eyes. Second one. When it comes to Quinn, it's a must. Any support with a carry beside them has to go Battle Station. There's no other option. This is almost busted. It's way too good to do anything else. The damage increase is really high. The energy is really high. You really need to go Battle Station. When it comes to the tank, because you're playing with an Alex, and most likely you're going to go with a guard skill on him, you probably want to go with the Fearless Stance, so Iron Will, the first one. Cleave skill. So when you look at Cleave, Cleave can work on both Alex or Annibal. But it's going to work a little bit better on Alex. It would still work very well on a Annibal. The reason it works a little bit better on Alex is because his skill is going to increase the attack speed. But it's, again, it's still very strong on a Annibal. At what point would you replace your Annibal for your YSS? In my opinion, as soon as your YSS is ready. By ready, I mean once your YSS is around the same specialization as your Annibal, and more importantly, once you can unlock the skill here. The moment you unlock guard, you're gonna have to go with YSS. Because you don't want to put guard on your Annibal. Your Annibal is going to die way too quickly if you put guard on him. And this is a very good skill to protect your Alex. It's probably in a Alex YSS Zenobia Quinn March, the second or number 3 option. Assembly charges first, no escape, and guard are second. Battle for second. I prefer no escape as a second and then guard, but some people go guard first. At the end of the day, you really need to protect your Alex. What is the difference between Anger and Dual Master? That's a good question. Okay, here. This is a good question. A lot of players, people don't necessarily understand the difference between physical damage and physical attack, right? So here, if you read physical attack, if you read only the percentage, you would assume that 50%. On top of that, you also get immunity to wound, is always going to be better than anger at 30%. The answer is no. It's not the same thing. When you look at Annibal as an example, and you look at his skill, right? Each normal attack is going to split and damage somebody else. It's basically a cleave. If you look at skills like cleave itself, every normal attack, it deals a percentage of physical damage. So what happens is when you increase your physical attack, you increase the normal attack damage. So your normal attack. When you look at a report, example here, let's go here. The normal attack. Dual Master is going to boost this here and this only. It will boost only the normal attack and also grant the wound, which is going to avoid Quinn and Khan's skill. But the anger, which is physical damage, is also going to increase all the other skill. So if you look at an example, I need to find a skill. Actually, I'm just going to go into Tower of Knowledge and give you one of the best example. Blade Vortex. If you look at Blade Vortex, Dual Master is not going to boost this damage. Anger will boost this damage because you're going to get more physical damage on your Immortal. So this is what's important. The stats here from your Alex example. Physical attack is only going to boost this here. It's only going to matter for your normal. The Dual Master, honestly, is a little bit overrated in my opinion because yes, the wound is very good, but on Alex, I prefer to go with AoE damage, and this does not provide any AoE. This here does not provide any AoE, but will help the AoE damage hit harder. Aside from Golden Path and Zuma Tower, any event that gives Crimson Moonlight. Okay, so Crimson Moonlight is one of the most expensive thing in the game. Also very hard to get. You have Golden Path. You have the Zuma event. You have a few other shop that is going to give you Crimson Moonlight. Let me reset because we are now resetting the day, and there's a shop that will appear here. You can get some Crimson Moonlight from the Deep Sea Eye during the weekend. This is extremely expensive, as you can see. You only get 4 for 1,600. What I usually do is I get it once every weekend on my main because I need Crimson Moonlight, but I don't need it enough to keep going up because now it's 1,800. I'm also gonna do it because today we're doing the spending event, so I'm getting dices at least, getting a little bit more value. But there's also the TOS shop here that you can get some Crimson Moonlight. If you place your bet properly in the TOS, you can get probably between 30 to 40, 50 Crimson Moonlight stack, so times 5. I think last TOS I was able to get maybe 40, 30, 40. They're not cheap at 2,000. When you compare them to the dust, they're more than double the price. And you can get 10 dust at 800 where you get 5 for 2,000. If you're doing a Chaos Immortal though, I still think you should go with the Crimson Moonlight in this shop because you can get Stardust from seasonal event and other event. You need to get your Crimson Moonlight whenever you can as a low spender or a mid spender. So here's as a player asking if he should put guard on his tank, even if he has to carry. That's a good question. A lot of players go both ways. So basically, here, if you're running, example, this March here, do you need guard? It depends. Not all players would run guard because they have Khan as a carry as well. It really depends on your skills, I would say. If Alex is still the one that is doing the most damage because you have, example, fully prepare or knife through butter, I would definitely put guard even if I have a Khan. If my Alex only has, example, knife through butter or not any red skill, but my Khan has corrosive power and energy mastery, then your Alex is a little bit more as a support. You might not need it. I personally really like guard. It's one of my favorite skill. I put guard on any tank that I put beside my Alex. Now, Alex deals a lot of damage. As long as he's on the battlefield, he's going to continue to push out damage. I more than often put guard on my tank beside my Alex. So for Siegfried, which skill do I recommend? Not as a pay to win skill, so just the normal Tower of Knowledge. It's a S1 account, and you cannot get to all the skill. So first of all, what I would say is if you are a free-to-play player or low spender, I don't know how far you are with Siegfried, but Siegfried is not the best carry later on into the game. So example here, if your Siegfried is where's my Siegfried? Still early. I would not invest too much into him when it comes to specialization because you're gonna get to a point where you're probably gonna reconsider if you want to keep using him. The reason is, although this can seem really crazy when it comes to damage, it's equally shared from all targets. And at the moment, most teams use at most two carry. Even now, most teams actually use one carry and one immortal that is more as a support. Example in Alex with Knife Through Butter. So Dragon Strike from Siegfried actually does not hit anybody that you really want. It hit everybody, spread the damage, does not kill anybody, just kind of whittles down the enemy. And you're left with a situation where you deal a lot of the damage with Siegfried, but you're not killing anybody. So PvP endgame, AE is not the best. If you want to focus on his skill, still because you're using him at the moment, you want to increase anything that has to do with his ultimate. So anger is a good skill. You're going to need fighting master on him if he's your main carry, because if he gets stunned, you're not going to get any damage done. But anger is going to be very good. And then you can also do fighting master on him. It doesn't have to do with his ultimate, but fighting master is going to provide you with a root for your team, which is okay. If he's a solo carry, however, you probably want more damage. So Blade Vortex, it does not do anything with his ultimate, but it is a good skill. You can do corrosive power. Now the problem with corrosive power on Siegfried is it's going to take time. Again, if you're a free-to-play player, you probably don't get corrosive power, but it is good on Siegfried. Spirit Impale is not all too bad on Siegfried, but it's not the best. Battle Stance, again, if you're able to survive long enough, this could be okay. I don't really recommend it. Unforeseen Attack is not for your ultimate, but it could be okay on Siegfried. You could do Growl on Siegfried. I don't know. You're still in Season 1, so you don't get access to these skills. Honestly, I would probably just go with Anger, Finding Master, and Adrenaline Rush. I think early season for a Siegfried, this is probably going to be the best combo. It all focus on him dealing more damage with his ultimate, because this is going to increase the energy, so his ultimate is going to go off more often. This is directly for his ultimate, and this is going to protect him from crowd control. Oh, okay. I have a question that I did not answer properly earlier. So the player was asking, once you select the specialization, which one do you have to max? For any physical damage on the front line, you want to do the physical one. You want to do the physical defense and the magical defense. These are the three most important. You have to do all three. And then you can just do 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 and keep going down. Once you're able to have a little bit more and invest more into the nodes, what you want to do is the resilience one. You don't really need the accuracy all that much. You don't really need the crit all that much. But this one you need. So step 1, max out the physical attack. Step 2, you do the physical and magical defense. Step 3, you do the resilience. The reason why these are maxed is, as you can see, I have more than enough. So I just maxed them. But they're not needed. all that much. We can do the same with the tank. For the tanks, is going to be the physical defense, the magical defense, and that's it. If you can invest more later on, you can do the dodge value. The dodge value is not all that needed, a little bit like accuracy. You're most likely not going to dodge, but you don't need the accuracy, you don't need the crit, and you don't need the magical damage. If you want to push it further because you have a lot, you could do the physical attack. It's going to give you a little bit of normal attack damage, but it's not really what a tank wants. It's padded stat, I would say, but it's not useless stat, example like crit value, right? So you could always do it. The reason I haven't yet is I'm going to do a Tina, and I'm going to need some for a Tina. So wound does not, wound prevention on Dual Master is not crowd control. So here, let's take a look at the difference between Dual Master immunity to wound versus Fighting Master immune to crowd control. So crowd control would be stun, roots, silence. These are all crowd control. Whereas wound is only the skills from Quinn, the skill from Khan. When you read their skill, you're going to see here, they're going to cause wound, right? Cause wound. And wound, what does it do? It prevents them from being healed. So basically, Dual Master is preventing Khan and Quinn's kill, not crowd control. So this is two different things. Crowd control, root, silence, stun. Wound is going to be Khan and Quinn's kill. I don't know the whole amount that you need for 0 to 50 Crimson Moonlight. It's the same as Dust. I know I knew at some point. I don't remember on top of my head the number, but it's a lot. It's a lot of Crimson Moonlight. As you can see here, it's the same amount. So if you look at this, it's 140 to go from 30 to 31. And if I look at, I think my Sinopia, do I have a level 30? Maybe so I don't have any 40 at the moment. Okay, here. So my Menko, I don't know why, but I put some dust onto him at some point. So you need 48 to go from 15 to 16. If you look at my Athena, it's the same 48. It's just a different currency. So it's the same amount total that you need from any normal immortal. Yes, exactly. You're right, James. So basically, crowd controls is what is going to prevent you from moving. Silence, stun, root. Is there anything else? I don't think so. Yeah, it's silence, stun, and root. Not debuff. You can be debuffed. It's what is really preventing you from moving. Here, so it's really immunity to crowd control only. So here, crowd control does not include wound, which is why you have this one here, which is immunity to wound specifically. Right. So while you guys still send question, I will do some divine coin, so wisdom whale here with you guys. I am extremely unlucky. Here, as you can see, I'm getting so much Cinder of Wish, which I don't need. I don't know why I keep getting Cinder of Wish, but it's all I'm getting. But yesterday, I was at 260 something coins. I did it. I used around 100 and I think around 120. And I got only 65 wisdom elixir. I went to 1 twice, and I went to 2. So basically 1, meaning the next one I'm sure to get it, and 2 out of 3 times. So we'll see if I'm more lucky with you guys. I usually do the 20 just because I'm a little bit lazy. I don't think there's any difference between the 5, 10, and 20 at all. I don't think there's any hidden VIP advantage here. It's just that they added the option, especially for the bigger whales. But again, I don't see any reason not to do the 20. So I'm just going to do the 20. I'm not going to skip. I'm just going to go for it. The goal is to, if I can reach anything below, above 30, so when there's only 10 left, I'll be very happy for my luck. We'll see. Oh, you see this? I got lucky actually, because you see that he reset it. That means I got at least 1 before hitting 20. That's actually good. Here I got Cinder twice. I don't need the Cinder. So I got 25. So that was actually a lucky pull. Maybe it's you guys giving me luck. And if you look here, the reason why I say I don't need a Cinder is on Artifact, I could do some small upgrade, not really major one. And on skill, I don't really need any more skills at the moment. There are skills that I could do. Example, I could do Fear of Domination just for PvE. Example, during the non-boss. Elemental Domain. This is also good for the Time Rift Breaker. Once the Time Rift Breaker is below 50% HP, you are sure to get the maximum value of the skill right from the get-go. So it is a skill that I could unlock. I don't really want to. I'm hoping at some point we get a little bit more skill here. We'll see. I think it's been a long time since we've gotten any skill on the Wish Shop. So that would be really nice if we could get some, which is why I've been keeping this Cinder. But to give you an idea, 60 is 1k or around. So I got enough to get 6 skill, right? This is all I get in this event. Let me just take a look at the chat. So James is asking, so if physical attack does not affect skill damage, how is skill damage calculated? Okay. So when you look at the percentage on example in Alex, and you look at here, you see here, example, assembly charge, you see that each normal attack has a 60% chance to deal physical damage of 75%. That 75% is going to be calculated from your physical damage. That is here. Now, at the moment in this game, you see the physical damage on the Immortal. So example here is 17k. But these are not example padded from your skill slot. They're padded from your equipment, however. So if I was to, let's take a look here, 17,860. See here, the stats has went down, right? So it's taking into consideration a lot of things, but it would not take into consideration the skills. See here, it's still at 17,860. But I just put a skill that increased my physical damage by 30%. So why is this not going up? Because this is physical attack. This is physical damage. So this is the difference. Physical attack here is a stat that basically when you use Dual Master, is going to add to the physical attack. But here you get 30% of physical damage. So it's not showing here, but it's going to apply to this skill here. Whenever this skill goes off, you're going to get more damage out of it. So the way it's calculated, you get a percentage of your physical attack from your skill at 75%. So it's going to deal damage. but you don't see the physical damage increase in the stats. It's a little bit weird. It's not super intuitive. It is something that I've asked the support and the dev team to work on when it comes to the stats. I think we should really see and what we need is here. When you look at the dragon, you get all the boost. You get the accuracy, the resilience, the physical attack. You get the physical defense. You get damage bonus. You get everything, right? We need something similar, in my opinion, on the immortal, where when you put your skills and you put everything together, you see not only the base stats, but you see all the added stats. So example, plus 10% damage from skill, from the equipment. Now we have equipment that are unlocked as well. So we even get bonus here. But again, physical attack, it will show. If you have physical damage, technically it wouldn't show on the stats. This is what is quite complicated when you look at the stats. But it is what it is. So physical attack would show, physical damage wouldn't. Just put my skill back. I just realized one of the things. No, it's not 25. It's 20 as well. When you look at this, the jackpot is 20. The reason why I got 25 is I got a small one here. So when you look at the claim reward, I'm gonna get a 20 here, but I got a 5 as well. So technically it's the same. It's 20 plus 5. So if you put dual master, yes, it should increase. Let's see. It didn't increase, but it should. It's not even increasing it, so it's still hidden behind the stats. See, it's not even going up. But if you do here physical attack, pure physical attack from the equipment, it's definitely going to work. I can remove this though. I can only remove this one because it's not binded. So you see it shows. But yeah, there's a lot of stats that are not technically that easy to read. Another one is example the accuracy versus the dodge. Here you could almost think that the dodge is almost as high as the accuracy, so you would dodge a lot. But the reality is you don't dodge at all. You're not going to dodge at all. KVK, yes, we're going to talk about KVK very soon. Let's take a look right now, actually. We're still matchmaking, right? So the matchmaking results are going to come out in 2 days and 23 hours. Now, this is something that a lot of players are asking for. The timer here is way too long. You get 3 days of preparation, 3 days of matchmaking, and then you get maybe 2 days of selecting your, or just knowing who you're going to fight before entering the map. So over a week. But what you need to do for KVK right now is you need to prepare by boosting everything that you can. I already made a video. I'll attach it to the Discord when it comes to preparing for KVK. I think it was done maybe 2 or 3 KVKs ago. It's still the same principle. What you really want to do is put everything onto your account before the gates open so that you can fight. Again, it really, really depends on the matchup. It's the same thing with your contract. I'll give you an example. At the moment in our alliance, we're already starting to tell the leadership which contract we want to go with. it's not final, however, right? Because if we get into a KVK that has no enemy or almost no enemy, fighting master might not be the best option for almost anybody. Why? If you don't have anybody to fight, you can form honor because you don't have another alliance from your server in the same KVK. You're not going to be able to get a lot of points. You might want to go Master Craftsman. You might even want to go Alchemist. It really depends on the matchup. So for KVK right now, the only thing you can do as a player is boost everything you can. Here, I'll give you an example. I am currently probably going to use double tank in my KVK that is coming. Reason is I am boosting the Shieldman and the Bowman first on my tech. Here, my YSS is stronger than my Charles. If you look at my dust, my Charles is only at 30. My YSS is at 50. But because of my technology and because when you look at my buildings, I am T9 on my Shieldman. I am not T9 yet on my Cavalry. My Charles is still better than my YSS, which has more dust. My power, I can bring it up a little bit more. If I want, I can put dust on him. It will depend on the KVK. But my YSS is a little bit weaker at the moment, given what I did with my updates. So this is something you need to be careful as well. If you're running YSS Alex, it's not going to be a problem because you're going to do Shieldman. I can give you a quick example. If I go on to my other account, here I did the Cav and the Bowman. Now I am with the March that has all T9, right? They're all T9. Now, it depends on your March. I decided on my main account that I was going to do, for now, probably double tank. So I did the research based on that. So right now, before the KVK start, I would really want to get this to level 5 at least. This is going to allow me to bring 500 Shieldman per immortal. That's quite a few more power, a few more stats. So this is the first thing you need to do. Then look at your resource. You really want to start to have as much resource as you can, not max like that. I'm going to start a research right away because I don't want to waste resource neither. But you want to be almost full on resource. And now again, don't forget, when you open the map, Frostborn, you don't get to fight unless there's people to fight within your faction. The reason is the gates are going to be locked. So you might not need all the resource. But if there is a war right from the start, you're going to be able to fight a lot more if you have a lot of resource. If you have any more question on KVK specifically, you can ask right away, by the way. It is a good time to talk about KVK. But I'm going to go up in the chat. I'm going to read a little bit here. Yes, so I have a question here from a player that is asking about drastic action. If you're using a YSS Alex Emiko Zenobia, drastic action could be very good for you because you don't have any wound effect. Now, this on your Alex is going to help against healing for sure. Now, the reason why I say it's not necessarily the best skill, the healing is quite good. The 600% is, I would say, so-so for a red skill. And you have so many better red skill. But if you are at a point where you're maxed out on all the red skill, you're looking to upgrade your Alex, you already have fully prepared knife through butter, then you can go with drastic action. There are quite a few players. I don't know if I'll be able to find one like this, but there are quite a few players that are using drastic action on their Alex. I know one of them here. We're starting to go pretty low. But there are a lot of players that use drastic action on their Alex. It's not that it's a bad skill. It's just that, again, if you have a Queen or a Can, it's useless. If you're running, for example, Fufei, Zenobia, Tio with a Himiko, then yes, it's a decent option. This guy, by the way, has a really, really, really good version of the top free-to-play player March, which is this one here. See here, this guy has only one red skill, two red skill. Oh, he actually got him one more. This was not there when I saw last time. But this is a very good example of, this is a free-to-play March, right? That we always talk about. That I always say it's the best free-to-play and even low-spender March. But what he did is he took it further by getting Knife Through Butter, Fought Enough Life, and now he's even doing Life Protection. This is Life Protection, in my opinion, is not even that necessary. It is going to be an upgrade for sure, but only with Knife Through Butter and Fought Enough Life. And if you look at his other team, he doesn't really have any other team. Like here, he's got a 50 dust Baldwin, but there's no red skill. It's still a very good setup with a Matilda, but Matilda is still really low on dust. He's really only got one March, right? And look at his rank. 120 in Legendary TOS with this amazing free-to-play March that has 2, now 3 red skill. It's an example of how strong this Alex March can be. Since I am an S2 player and there aren't any good red skill available, if you are early season and you don't have access to all the good red skill yet, you have 2 options. If right now you are a mid spender and you really, really want to fight for your server, there's a lot of fight, you can go with drastic action. You can even go with last 10 if you want on your Alex, and your Alex is going to be stronger than any Alex without a red skill. The issue with that is you will, at some point, if you want to keep competing with your Alex at the same level as the other players that are going to get 1 or 2 red skill, have to replace last 10 with Knife Through Butter and Fully Prepare. You could get away with Knife Through Butter, last 10, and maybe Assembly Charge. You would still be very strong. But the reality is these 2 skills are not as good as Knife Through Butter and Fully Prepare. They're still decent. You can get them. There's even players that get attack and defense because when they get to unlock the skills, these are not there yet. But the reality is even attack defense is not as good as some of the other red skill. So if you're planning to get many red skill, go for it. If you're only planning to get 2 or 3, I would skip these 3 skill, in my opinion. That's why they're also not unlocked on my account. It's a little bit the same thing with Battle Frenzy. Battle Frenzy would be very good. For example, a Hippo doesn't work on Alex. What the Well do is they put it on their tank and they use it for the debuff. Using a red skill for a debuff is not accessible for most players. It's really just Wells that do it. So it's a good example of a skill that is not unlocked on most players' account. Yes, it's a trigger skill. So yes, a 9-tail would increase the trigger chance. It would go to 70%. Yes, it would. If you look at this skill as well, it would go to 70%. If you look at This skill, it wouldn't because it's a passive. If you look at this skill, it wouldn't because it's a passive. Here, it's triggered, it would increase to 70%. So we're going back to the percentage when it comes to physical damage, physical attack. This is something that honestly a lot of players still have not fully grasped, and it is not their fault. It's not our fault. It's really, I would say, the report and the stats that you get on the immortal. They're not going to be padded all the time. I forgot to change it. But yes, so basically, when a battle starts, you get your physical attack, and your skills are triggered from the physical damage here. The percentage is from this and the physical attack that you have. But it's even more than that because I know a lot of players doesn't know that. But when you look at the Tower of Knowledge, the Tower of Knowledge level actually also increase that. Here, if you read, the Tower of Knowledge is going to increase the damage, healing effect of skill. So this is also another 15% that most player doesn't know, but it's not shown anywhere, right? You don't see it in the report. I don't think you see it in the battle stats report neither. I've never noticed it, so I don't think so, but let me take a look. No, it's not there. There's no Tower of Knowledge boost anywhere. So there's still a lot of stats in this game that actually doesn't really show up. And this is probably one of the most common that people don't know. Almost no one clicks on this here. So there's another question when it comes to the terminology, rate between rate and value. I think you are talking about probably crit. This one is damage received. 1 second. Or maybe you're talking about the accuracy. But here you have rate, crit rate. Let me find one that is value. Maybe the Dutch one. So rate. What about misleading? It's all rate. So where do you see value? You're gonna have to give me an example. You say fully prepare in the KVK shop. Fully prepare is one of the last skill. I don't know exactly when it's available. The reason is I've been in a legendary season all my career when it comes to Infinity Kingdom. When it comes to early season, I don't know exactly when these skills are released in order. I think fully prepare is Conquest, but I'm not 100% sure. Yes, so when you're early season, the red scale, the reality is they're not all as good as later on. You have infinite firepower for a mage that is really good. Now, if you have a mage and you don't have Fufei, you can either go infinite firepower and energy mastery on them, or you can go energy mastery and corrosive power. So you can skip the first skill when it comes to the mage and go for only this one on the red skill side. when it comes to damage dealer, healing, tanks, all the skills here are not as good. Last stance, drastic power action, attacking defense are not that used anymore. Life protection is extremely good, but I wouldn't recommend getting life protection as a first red skill. Now you get knife through butter, that is extremely good. Fountain of life, very very good. Divine blessing, very good. Fully prepared, very good. So the last few release skill are definitely extremely strong. They changed the meta. There's a reason why people went for them. They are a must for any wells. So yes, um, it depends on your team. But if I have to rank these red skill, my first one, the one I like the most, is energy mastery for any um, energy user. Then it's going to be knife through butter. I really like knife through butter. It is a skill that is so good. It makes Alex do a lot of damage, but also utility wise, it counters energy mastery, it counters Khan, Imiko. And then it's going to be Fountain of Life. Fountain of Life for me is extremely good. The healing is underrated a lot of the time. And even at level 1, you get the silence immunity. And the best gold skill, for sure, that anybody that knows what they're doing have, is no escape. Okay, so you're talking about the artifact. And when it comes to rate and value, let me go to the artifact. I can give you an example. I just need to find one. Okay, so here when you say crit value versus crit rate, it's the percentage. Here, dodge rate is going to be a percentage, where value, I think my value is not a percentage. You always, if you can, want the rate. Do you want the percentage? Because this game, as we go, as you move on into the later season, all the stats are padded. You get more and more stats. You get more stats from the dragon. You get more stats from the equipment, which keeps on getting better and better. You can even unlock them now and bind them to your model. So your stats is always going up. So if you get the percentage, you get more out of your artifact down the line. Yeah, exactly. So like Jem says, the percentage is to the value. So the percentage in all cases is better. The only case the value might be a little bit better is going to be something like season 1, because season 1 you don't get as much stats. You don't get the equipment level 60 that you can unlock. Like Alex example, your dragon does not hold as many open slots when it comes to physical attack. So when you look at your stats here, you're not going to get as much. So the value early season is actually a little bit better. But as soon as you step into season 2 and forward, the percentage, the rate is going to be better on any stats. Let me go back to this here. I'm going to do another throw. I didn't get anything this time around. As you can see, nothing for the 20. These are all things that you can buy for a few gems and over time. Let's do another one. Oh, I actually got 2. You guys are giving me luck. I'm going to use my coins. So basically what happens here is that I went to probably down maybe the 10, but I got another one really quickly. So I got 2, and I even got the small 5. But this was really, really lucky for me. That was awesome. 40 Cinder, again, I don't really need it. How much do I have now? It's 300 to unlock a skill. Oh, I got it again. Let me see. 40. Oh, I swear to God, you guys are giving me so much luck. I'm going to keep going. Oh, not this time around. 40 Cinder. This is pretty much for artifact. I can still go the way I do it is I'm gonna stop at 40, because at 40 I wouldn't be sure to get a grand prize, and I wouldn't go under 40 if I can. So I can still go for at least one more 20. I got it once. Now this is where I need to start to be careful. I can do one more 40, but it's a little bit risky. I'm still going to do it. But then after I need to stop the 20. Oh, I didn't get it. I got 5. So now here I'm going to do the 5-1. I'm going to go down to 1 for sure. Oh, no, I went down to 2. So here I can unlock a skill. As you can see, example, fully prepare. It's 300 for one skill. I could upgrade my Divine Blessing, my Fountain of Life. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm going to hold on to these for now. The reason is I want to go fully prepare, but I'm not planning on using Alex this KVK. I might still go for it because I want to test a March. I will really want to test this March here. My Wind Dragon is slowly becoming a little bit stronger. It's still not quite as good as my Earth Dragon. I hope someday, maybe in 3-4 months, it will be. But I want to test Athena, which is not ready, by the way. Only 4. Hannibal, which is not ready, only 15. This also needs to be upgraded. Fu Fei and Quinn. Now, when you go into the TOS and the Legendary Season, there's a March that has become popular. I tried it a few times as well, but I can do it without fully prepared, in my opinion, on my March. But let me find it. So Self, Zilla, and Lisa, they're both here. They use this March, which is gaining in popularity, which is this one here. It's a Fu Fei, Jorn, Quinn, Alex. Now, I know I've fully prepared, so I can't do it properly. I've tried it a few times. But this here is extremely good when it comes to damage for your Alex. You have Fu Fei, which is going to help everybody else than Alex. And Jorn is good alongside Alex. I want to try Hannibal instead, because what happens if Fu Fei is not providing as much usefulness to Alex, right? Now, Alex is a little bit better with Knife Through Butter. Fully prepared, it's not a big deal because you get to 10 really quickly on Hannibal anyway. So the skill that you get a little bit less damage from is going to be Knife Through Butter on Hannibal. But if you're going to use Quinn and Fu Fei, which Quinn and Fu Fei doesn't give that much value to Alex, why not try Hannibal, Fu Fei, and Quinn? And this is what I want to try, but I'm not ready to try it. But I will need fully prepared, so I don't know. I might slowly get prepared for it. But it is a project that I really want to see through with my dragon being a little bit stronger now. So to answer you, Muad, so it's the same principle. Flat damage versus percentage or bonus is always going to be better because the stats are padded. Like here, just look at my example, Alex or Himiko. Let me look at Himiko. Actually, Alex has even more because attack is more present. So here you see my Alex at 17k, right? So when I had this here, it's 42%. So even if this would be lower, here, the amount is 11, let's say 12k, right? And I had my percentage on my artifact. Now I have 42 plus 9. So I have, let's say, around 50%. It goes up to almost 18k, right? Now let me see if I have a attack that is flat. Probably don't have many because I don't keep them. I always melt them. Let me see if I can find one here. Here you see it's not, well, actually it's gold. It's fully stored. It's maxed out. You see the physical attack here. It's 1.1k. It's way lower than what I got, right? So if I use a based one, I would gain with this one here, let's say maybe 1.5, 1.4. But here from the 42%, again, I'm going to do it again. I'm sorry. I gain 6k. So it's way, way more. Yeah. All right. So if you guys have any more questions, let me know. I'm going to slowly start to end the stream soon. It's been almost 2 hours. If you have a question about KVK, marches, formation, you can also share on the Discord, right? For later on, I can always review the Discord. I try to look at it every day. But if you have a question right now, I can also answer during the stream. Oh, there's one here. About to jump. Legendary season. I'm a mid player. There's many options. Okay, so if you're talking about jumping, it really, really depends on what you want to do and what you enjoy as a player. The best example is when you look at a server like example 38. You look at their migration cap, like here, let's say 277. The migration cap is at 1 million. It's not very limiting player. A lot of players are still under 1 million. By the time they get to 1 million, it means they need to ask for a special slot to be open to join our server. But if you look at example 38, the migration cap is at 1,175,000. There's not a lot of players in our server that would actually require for them to open, right? There's only one player at the moment, or maybe two. Was it 117? I don't remember, but maybe one player. So that means it's a lot easier to go into 38 than almost any other server. There's 136 that is also very high. But once you're there, if you're not a spender, look at example 277. You have a lot of competition when it comes to arena, when it comes to alliance event. You can just take a look at example King of the Hill. You can take a look at arm race. A lot of players are going to perform well because they're spender. Where if you're a free-to-play low spender, you're not going to be able to perform as well. Now, when you look at KVK, a lot of these players are going to be able to do most of the fighting. Not because you don't want to fight. Because if you get to a situation where there's a strong player on the enemy side, your alliance is going to want your strongest player to fill the rally. You might not be one of these. It really depends what you want to do. If you really enjoy playing with a smaller group but being very, very useful, you might want to stay in servers that are a little bit weaker. But if you really want to enjoy the ride, get as strong as you can. Doesn't matter what you do, and you still want to fight a little bit here and there, then server like 38, 231, 136 that are really, really big will have a lot of players that are going to be able to help you. They spend a lot, so you're going to get a lot of gifts here. The higher one are going to have gems. Some of them have VIP points, so you're going to be able to increase your VIP. It really depends on what you want to do. I can give you a quick idea. I migrated into 277 a week ago. I brought 2 accounts, right? I kept my mini account here in 57. Why? It's simple. 57 here, as you can see, is almost bare now. There's almost not any more, maybe no more than 15 active, 20 active. The power cap has went down very, very much. So a lot of players migrated out, but the server is set for growth. 57 is one of the best places, in my opinion, to grow out your account. All the city buffs are for one alliance. There's only one alliance in the server, right? So every core, the same alliance win. Every event, look at Malena, look at even arm race. It's like, look here. This is all me, right? So there's a lot of ways that you can grow your account. On top of that, as I mentioned earlier in the video, there's a lot of dead form. I can literally stay fully max on resource without gathering if I want. And I can keep on my free-to-play accounts upgrading my building, upgrading my academy, and then if I find a new home or I want to migrate them, I can. I can also during KVK, because there's a lot of dead castle, get my resource from the dead castle and donate to the city to be able to gain a lot of alliance coin and keep buying portals. Again, alliance coin is really important, but if you're fighting all the time, you need to upgrade. There's no dead castle in your server. It's harder for you to gain those coins. So there's a player here, 3 versus 1 in KVK. It really, really depends on a few things. When you go and look, well, I can't look at the KVK map at the moment. Let me see if I can see the map here. I can see the map, but when you are in the KVK map, you have 4 corners, right? Each server are going to be in a corner. So you have Ember, Terra, Hydro, and Zephyr. If your 3 enemy are all in one corner, you definitely need to go out really strong at the start. Your goal will be to get as many points and then lock one of the zone for yourself at the very least to still have access to the middle. If they're all different server, like different faction, you have an enemy here, an enemy here, an enemy here, I would go strong on one of the side. I would pick one of the side first, and I would go strong on example this side here. I would try to lug this side first, and then see if I have a possibility to go left as well. But make sure you don't get locked in everywhere by splitting too thin. Fighting 3 servers is not easy. Not all servers can do it. The 2 best team if you exclude Chaos Immortal. It depends if you include Red Skill. If you don't include Red Skill, my first best team is always going to be this. I really like this team. If you don't include any Chaos Immortal, this is, in my opinion, the best team. If you want to take it a little bit further, you can do this instead. This would be an upgrade from the team that I showed, and this is a little bit better for sure. Now, the problem with that is if you don't use any red skill with this formation, I don't think your Himiko is going to get anywhere strong as your Alex with 3 skill. Even if you do Fighting Master, you're going to have to do maybe Spell Disintegrator, Concentration, and you're not going to deal as much damage as Alex. So if I do this here, I would probably turn my Himiko more as a support. It is something I'm working on at the moment on one of my accounts. I'll see how it goes. I have a few accounts that I'm working on different projects, but all variation of this March. At the moment, all my smaller account has this March. Or a variation. Here, see? Same March. Same March. Same March. 1 million power now, but same March. It's all the same. I really think this is the best March. But here on this account, I'm working on Himiko. Right? I'm gonna replace my Zenobia or Quinn with Himiko. I don't know yet. Again, the reason is I'm not going to put damage on Himiko. I'm going to go with probably Energy Shield, maybe even Spring of Life. I don't know yet, but if I do this, maybe Zenobia is going to be better than Quinn. I'll have to test it out. On one of my other accounts, I don't remember which one, I'm going to replace YSS with Jorn. I'm going to replace YSS and Jorn, see if this is better than putting Himiko as a support, and I'll test it out for you guys. Another account, I have a Khan here. It's actually on my main. I brought it to 277 as well. Because that account is a pretty strong account. This one here. Now, don't look at this. It's because I'm leveling up Wu at the moment. But this is a Khan instead of a Wu. A fully dust at 7 on the specialization. So what I will do instead, and this is a YSS. I'm using Charles because the shield is better when I hunt gnomes, giving me less wounded. But I'm not going to replace Abjorn or Himiko. I'm actually going to put a Theodora to test it out, and I'm going to do a Khan Theodora YSS Alex and see how it goes. But yeah, the Alex March is extremely strong. If you include red skill, it's debatable. I think there's two options. The first one is going to be this March here, but with an Alex, right? Like this. You need knife through butter and fully prepare on your Alex. You're going to go corrosive power, infinite firepower, or energy mastery, corrosive power. Energy mastery, infinite firepower, or energy mastery, corrosive power. You're going to need Fountain of Life. You're going to need Divine Blessing and Fountain of Life. Sorry, this is life protection. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 red skill, which is quite a lot of red skill. It's not a cheap march, but I think it's probably the best march without the chaos, in my opinion. There is one that, again, has taken a lot of popularity, which I showcased a moment earlier. That is, I think, close to it, or maybe even as good. And it's the Selvzilla Lisa March. I don't know what they are anymore. Oh, there it is. Which is this here. You could go with a Zenobia, of course, instead of the Fufei, but you would need these two skills. You would need life protection, Fountain of Life. You would need Divine Blessing. So you get to remove 2 red skill, because in this case you don't do infinite firepower, corrosive power, or energy mastery. You don't have a mage, you don't have Khan. But this is extremely good as well. There's also, I can give you a third option because this player used it in my server and it's very strong. Where is it? We just redone our arena, so I can look at arena. Where is it? It's a Khan Matilda March, which is very strong as well. I can't find it anymore. Don't remember what it is. So this march is really good. Now there's an Anubis. You can do YSS instead. But Matilda and Can works really well together. And if you can put Energy Mastery, Time to Shine, Finding Master, you're going to need to go all in with Fountain of Life, Divine Blessing, Life Protection as well. But again, it's a few less red skill because you're not using Himiko and Alex. If you use Himiko and Alex, you need more red skill. The best skill from the Recharge bundle, let me see here. I have it here. The best skill from the Recharge bundle here, in my opinion, again, it depends heavily on your team. If you're a magic dealer, I think Art of Arcana is extremely good. No matter who you place it on, who you're fighting against, Art of Arcana is going to give you very good value for your Himiko or your Loki. I think it's one of the best skills to get from this bundle. If you're using a Khan, Time to Shine is extremely good from this bundle. If you're using a mage and you're not going for a red skill, Psionic Tide is a very good skill. But the issue with Psionic Tide is you cannot put it with Energy Mastery. So Time to Shine and Art of Kana. The Blade Dodge is also good, but this is way more situational. This is not for every immortal at all. I'm going to take a few more questions before I end the stream, guys, so send it right away. Matilda versus Quinn. They're very, very, very different immortal. They do absolutely not the same thing. If you're using a normal attack march, so if you have an Alex, Quinn is going to be better. If you're using a caster, Matilda is going to be better. The best example is Hannibal versus Saladin. So here, if you have a Quinn, you would play with Hannibal because with the artifact, this becomes a passive, right? If you put a Matilda with Hannibal, you're not going to get anything, almost. But if you do a Saladin, you would need to do Matilda instead of Quinn. Quinn would not be that useful alongside a Saladin. Master Aegis is not the best skill. Let me explain why. Actually, I can just take a look at it. I have it. I unlocked it. I use it sometime when I know what I'm finding, and that is the issue. Where is it now? I think it's on my teal. Yeah, it's on my teal right now. So the reason why this is not the best skill and way less popular and I think useful than Art of Arcana is you need to be fighting magical damage. So when I have this on my main team and I fight a Khan or an Alex, I basically have a skill slot that is completely useless. This is why when I am defending in TOS, basically when I'm not attacking, I don't hold that skill on my main team. My main team being these two, right? I don't have Master Aegis on any of these. I do have Art of Arcana because no matter who I fight, this is going to help my Himiko. When I'm on the offense and I attack people, I scout them and I know they're going to be a Himiko or a Loki, then I might place Master Aegis on my main team. It's the same principle with Oakengard and Resist. They are very good skill, but they are very situational. You cannot just place them on your team and not bother with changing them. This is the reason why I'm not the biggest fan of Master Aegis. The reason why Quinn is not is used in Fire Team is because of the anti-healing. Quinn is extremely good because there's a lot of healing in the game. There's a lot of Zenobia in the game. There's a lot of skills that gives you healing skills, and more importantly, example Spring of Life, which gives you defense when you're healed. Quinn is going to help with that. And the more important aspect of a support in a fire team is the specialization. Your Wu or your Seal on the up, I prefer Wu, is going to need a support because of this here, because of the 200 energy and because of the 40% damage. Also, with a Quinn, you can place assist. But if you can do Matilda, Matilda would definitely be better in a fire team. Matilda would be better with Wu, for sure. So this is the same example that I gave with Master Aegis. Oaken Guard and Resist are the same thing. When you look at a skill like Oaken Guard and Resist, Oaken Resist here, Oaken Guard here, they are very strong skill, but if you have example Oaken Guard and you fight My Himiko March, you have a slot that is absolutely useless. This is why you need to be careful with these skills. They can be extremely good for you as they can be useless. The way I do these skills most of the time is I don't use them all the time when I'm not doing anything on my march, but I will place them onto my main march when I know what I'm fighting. Yeah, so somebody answered the Quinn question in the chat. Yeah, Quinn is amazing, extremely easy to do. Wounds is easy to use because a lot of healer in the game, a lot of skills that use heal. So Quinn is just that easy to build, that good in the game at the moment. Whereas Matilda is a lot harder, but Matilda is a lot better with caster. Example here, I have my current march here. If I do Matilda here, Matilda would technically be better than Quinn because Quinn here is pretty much only giving me the wound and the battle excitation, whereas Matilda would give me the energy regen and the damage on my ultimate and still bring the specialization. The reason I haven't done it is because I don't have Matilda at the moment. I don't recommend Wine and Dine all that much. There's a reason why it's a Tower of Knowledge free to play skill, in my opinion. In theory, Wine and Dine is extremely good, and it's extremely good for hybrid team. If you have Alex and Hannibal, this skill is extremely good because it's going to give you 2 damage increase by giving it 1 to Alex, 1 to Hannibal. The issue with that is you need to be healing, and if you're playing a Can and a Quinn, this might actually almost never trigger on your Alex or your Hannibal. So that's why if you're playing a Hannibal YSS Xeno Quinn, I don't necessarily recommend Wine and Dine because first, only your Alex is going to benefit from this, and he might not benefit because this might not trigger at all. Yes, there's a player here that this is going to be the last question, guys. By the way, there's a player asking if it's good to build against specific player. Yes, for sure. This is extremely important for, maybe example TOS, arena, but more importantly during KVK. When you're fighting in KVK, you get battle reports and you know what the team is using, right? So I'll give you my example with my current march. If this is my current march at the moment, and I know what I'm fighting, I would replace some of these skills for sure. I'll give you an example. If I know I'm fighting, an example, Alex, I will put Weakening Curse for sure. If the march I'm fighting is a Zenobia, Quinn, Alex, YSS, I will come here and I need to put Weakening Curse because it is a good counter against Alex. If I'm fighting a Loki with, example, infinite firepower, Energy Mastery and Fighting Master, then I would put Master Aegis somewhere. Maybe I will replace this one. Maybe I will probably this one. And I would put Master Aegis. I would probably replace this one here, and I would probably put either Resist or Jade Barrier. I have Jade Barrier. I unlocked it very, very early. It's not the best skill, but Jade Barrier is extremely good against infinite firepower. So I might place Jade Barrier. So this is what you need to do with your skills that are situational. When you know what you're fighting, you can place those skills against them. All right, guys, thanks for being here. A lot of question again today. That's always nice. If you have any more, use the Discord. I'm going to attach the Discord link. There's a lot of player as well in the Discord now, so there's a lot of player that can help you, not just me. There's a lot of good conversation going on the server, on the Discord channel. A lot of information being exchanged, so I welcome you to join it. Thanks for being here, and see you next week. If you have any topic, by the way, send it in the topic request. I'm still planning my videos for next week. I don't have all the topics, so if you have topics, I might do yours. Have a good day.